Hey, so it's February 4th, 2026, and I'm sitting outside the library here in Spring Valley, really reflecting on having gone to the Comic Con Temple Museum and having met other incarnates, other characters involved in story, and where, now I'm here at the library and where, my devotion to story, my devotion to, the saga of the goddess of story, and the absolutism of that paladin's quest into story, where I've like bet everything on the devotion that the Mythica will lead me through these very many scenes in my story, such that I can, discover, prove, and share the physics of the quest with others, so that they can really have a better understanding of the landscape of their own story. And it's wild to notice that it's happening. That meeting Emily, meeting Danny, and having those experiences was really affirming in the Comic-Con temple that I was led to, museum that I was led to, and where the conversation was about story herself so much. And where now being at the library and speaking to Jakayla, one of the librarians, and talking about story, and having just spoken with Cassandra, who is my fellow alumni from the academy, where she's really a crack tarot reader, and where my own interest in divination led me on the quest documenting the story as a real life character, like the real life Dungeons and Dragons, where the different places that I've arrived, be it Ravenswood with Cassandra of recent, stopping at Soulhaven with its wrought iron black unicorn fairy gates, where Tracy and Andrew are giving retreats, them being led to Hamul with Nico Chin and other characters inside of like an ensemble of magician kings in the land adjacent to San Diego, where now I have in synchronicity arrived at the Comic-Con museum, and where I've gotten like a taste of the people who have that same tone of devotion to story that I do in their own way, and where like I felt ever since I've come back to San Diego that there's been a sense of like homecoming, where I'm actually connecting to the people who I am generally resonant with, and who share that devotional aspect of story. And for me, one of the clarities on this is that, in showcasing the heroic journey and the heroic landscape, which is really like the landscape of people, places, and events that happens on your timeline, the hero's journey is not easy. Like everyone has a challenge, like a heroic flaw or something, something that you're dealing with. And as I'm moving forward through these things, I'm really seeing the nature of my own flaw not flaw, but challenge, more clearly. And where there's like an emotional opening to allowing myself to vulnerably talk about that is very humanizing, like where the sovereignty of the inner relationship with that is like, okay, man, magic, yes, pathos, ponos, challenge, absolutely. And that's going on for everybody. And I feel that's the deeper humanism in the thing. It's saying that, it's just like, as characters in the great story, we go through it. We go through very real human things. How do I manage this? Is this going to happen? What is desire? What is manifestation? How do we divine? What's going on? And that this is happening while we're on this deeper heroic journey, coming from the Ravenswood, like living with my fellow seer, traveling down, encountering the magicians at the Soulhaven, coming down, being on the land in Hamul with a bunch of magician kings in like an Olympian Elysium landscape, encountering the Comic-Con temple. I know it's a museum, right? But just like, and encountering the characters there is all happening on a deeper landscape related to my unique expression of the principles of story that are the gravity points of the heroic journey, the heroic path, and the heroic landscape that make up the measure of our quest. That's my update from right now.